Welcome, everyone, to episode number 27 of We Are Family. This is going to be a special free agency episode for the NFL. A lot of things have happened in the NFL in terms of free agency. Obviously, the Steelers still trying to find their next quarterback. They
What are you
did make
talking
a
about?
move.
It's Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
It's Mason Rudolph. He's the
my
starter.
apologies. Yeah, but no, yeah. So we got a lot of things to talk about. So, Peyton, I see you have your laptop out with a bunch of free agency stuff. So why don't you guys start it?
Okay. Well, me and Nate talked a lot of Steelers yesterday on Let's Talk Steelers. We definitely want to hear what you have to say about the Steelers. But let's should we jump into other teams or should we just jump into the Steelers?
Do you want to do just biggest moves so far that we think,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
you want to talk about some quarterbacks? We could talk Sam Darnold
let's
or
talk
something.
quarterbacks. So that's crazy. So we did that episode, right? And then like a few hours later, Geno Smith gets traded to the Raiders. That was the first ball that dropped. And on this podcast about a month ago, I said when Pete Carroll was first hired, I said the Seahawks want to move on from Geno Smith, right? They've seen enough. They know there's a ceiling there. The Raiders need to get some stability. He's looking for the thing is though, they're trying to figure out a long-term extension, and I don't like if long-term. I mean,
he's already like how old is he? Like 35? Isn't he like 34 or 35 or something?
I don't know. He's got to be older, but like maybe 2 years. I would not give him a 3-year contract, because if you want to go to a Super Bowl, you're gonna need better than Geno Smith. But he certainly provides stability. Pete Carroll knows him like that, and I remember saying for a 4th round pick, and they ended up getting the Seahawks ended up getting a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, that was the first domino to fall, and I think it was a good move by the Raiders because for where they're at right now, the sort of
34. He's 34.
34.
He's getting up there now.
Yeah. I mean, he had a lot of years where he was just backup or just, well, I don't even know where
I
he was
think
at.
because of that, he feels younger than he is.
Yeah, it feels like he hasn't been in the. It feels like he is like 28 or something.
Yeah,
it feels like but he's not, unfortunately, for him and for the Raiders who for extending him long term. But I think this is a good move for them right now to see. Hey, maybe we can compete for a playoff spot. I don't know how likely that is next season, even with some of the good additions I think they've made, and obviously Pete Carroll now head coach. But it is a step in the right direction. It's a sign that the Raiders do want to win pretty close to now. And I've kind of harped on him a little bit. I think he's an average to slightly below average quarterback in this league. I think he had incredible weapons with Seattle and in terms of the wide receiver, tight end, running backs, and he threw 21 touchdowns at 15 interceptions last year. I just don't think that
he's ever since that trade though. People are saying people have been overhyping him. I think a little.
There's a little overhype,
much.
but I think I've been in my rhetoric. I've been kind of undervaluing him as a player. He's still a very decent quarterback. He's certainly a bona fide. He's a starting quarterback
I agree.
in the NFL, and he'll automatically win some more games for Las Vegas. It's a clear quarterback upgrade, even though I think he's probably around 17, 18 best quarterback in the NFL right now.
So let's stick with Seattle. Since we're on Seattle.
Jake Bell didn't give his thoughts.
Oh, sorry. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're good.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I have not much more to say. I like Geno Smith, assuming I don't know. The Raiders don't have to do this if they're willing to have Geno Smith for another season after this 2025 season. But this gives them at least an option if they want to draft a quarterback in the first round to sit behind Geno Smith. That would make sense. It's just I don't know what they're thinking, but the dominoes could fall. Maybe the Titans aren't interested in the quarterback. Maybe Russell Wilson ends up signing with the Browns and they don't draft a quarterback. So there's so many things that could happen to where the guy of their choice could actually go to the Raiders, which is crazy.
That is interesting. So if you're the Raiders with Geno now, you could, since this quarterback class, I think for where they're picking, I don't think they want to draft a quarterback with their first pick, but they could go 3rd round or something, or they could just sign a veteran backup or just a backup in general. I don't know. Do they have O'Connell? Do they still have Aiden O'Connell?
I believe so. Yeah, he's
Well,
still under his
so he
rookie
can be the
deal.
backup this
He's
year.
a fine backup.
And maybe next year, if the quarterback class is even better, then the Raiders can really go after their guy, and
Right.
so they have more options now at the quarterback position. Like we said, it definitely it's an instant upgrade, and we'll see what the Raiders do going forward here with that. So Geno Smith, first domino. What else you got,
So
Peyton?
with the Geno Smith trade, the Seahawks, obviously looking to upgrade at quarterback, and I love the Sam Darnold signing. I think he was going to be at a Baker Mayfield type of range, like $33.5 million a year, or 33, whatever it is, and $55 million guaranteed for 3 years. I like it. I think Darnold's proven he can be a franchise quarterback. And that offense, I think the Seahawks have gotten a lot of crap this offseason because they got rid of Geno, who was okay. He was decent. They got rid of DK Metcalf. We'll get to that in a second. And it's like, well, who's going to help out Sam Darnold? But here's the thing. I think Mike McDonald is building his team. This is part of building his team.
Right.
Because it was a lot of the same faces with Pete Carroll last year. And the people that are saying he's not an upgrade over Geno Smith are not watching football. He is an upgrade from Geno Smith.
I'm getting tired of hearing that.
Yeah,
frankly.
he is an upgrade for Geno Smith. And I like that they're getting draft capital. That defense is already pretty good last year. It's going to get better. And I really do think Jackson Smith and Jigba can be a one.
Yeah.
They need someone else to help him, but they got all this draft capital. They can improve the offensive line. Getting a second and a third round pick is big. I think the Seahawks could be a sneaky team next year. I trust Mike McDonald. I was impressed with the job he did last year, and I like that he's saying, hey, this is my team, and I want to build it how I see it, and I can respect that. So the next big thing, DK Metcalf to the Steelers. This gets into the Steelers. I don't think any of us saw this coming.
No, not at all.
I don't know if we're gonna make it shorter. I said DK to the Steelers. Remember the one I said Steelers?
But we
all
was a
joke.
laughed because we didn't think that would happen.
It was more than half jokingly because, like we've seen, they have swung and missed on big time wide receivers in the past couple years, trying to attract them and sign them here and acquire them here in Pittsburgh. So yeah, it was certainly a surprise. When I saw it on that breaking news on ESPN, I wasn't even doing nothing. I was like, wow, because it is a surprise, and that's a big time.
Wow.
It is a wow. It's a wow, and it's a big time receiver that you're adding to your wide receiver depth chart.
Yeah, it did catch me off guard. It's just not a move you see the Steelers making for sure.
And then extending him 5 years, $150 million.
Now that's
yeah.
I think there is a little bit of desperation there. I think there's a little bit of we gotta start doing something better. I think that's positive in that regard because that's a lot of money for a wide receiver. We've seen it. It's almost top of the market. But go ahead, Jake. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. No, I mean, yeah, the Steelers made it very well known that this is their receiver moving forward. Like they're treating him as a one. They're paying him as a one. They're committing to him for multiple years. And that questions like I truly don't believe the Steelers at all re-sign Pickens. Will he get traded? Who knows? I just don't see it happening after you give big money to a guy like Metcalf. So it would be interesting to see how that unfolds. But with the Steelers draft history with day 2, day 3 receivers, I'm not too worried about it as long as they get guys with good character. So
yeah, that is the only worry, right?
Yeah.
Just get a dude that like I wonder when the Steelers are doing their pre-draft interviews with these receivers if they just completely look over personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is kind of crazy the pattern that they've had of the wide receivers they've drafted.
Right.
But yeah, that is interesting. So I agree, Jake. I don't know. With the Pickens, it's interesting dynamic now. Do you trade him before the season? I think that would be a logical thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
And get before the draft even and get a pick and try to see and draft your next number 2 wide receiver and kind of deepen the wide receiver pool with somebody not like George Pickens in terms of personality, in terms of just being more reliable and just being more versatile, I think, as a receiver, too, because I think Pickens is very good at what he does, but that's, like, the only thing he does. It's like the deep ball, his routes have been kind of questionable at times. Sometimes he just stops running his routes, but we know that already. But that will be interesting. What do the Steelers do there? Because I don't think they will extend him. There's not enough money to go around in terms of the wide receivers for the Steelers. So
no, I agree with that. I mean, if the Steelers do end up getting Aaron Rodgers, which I'm sure we'll get to very soon, it would make sense to keep Pickens because you'd want established targets for Rodgers to throw with. But if they don't and they're saying, hey, or if Rodgers chooses the Giants or whatever and Rudolph is the starter and say the Steelers draft a quarterback, it would make more sense, in my opinion, to trade Pickens for a pick because, like, this team is not going to win now. Like, I love Mason Rudolph, but no offense to him, but it's not going to win now as the starter. You're going to use Rudolph more as a bridge guy for your next quarterback in the future, if anything. Like, if that's what ends up happening. So I would trade Pickens at that point. No point keeping him if you're not going to commit to him long term. And we all know a Super Bowl is going to be out of reach anyways, so I feel like that would make sense. So.
Super Bowl, trying to get it.
Yeah.
That's the Steelers.
I was wondering what you were doing. I was like,
trying to
is
reach
there, like,
for that
fuzzies or
Super Bowl.
something in
They're
the
so
air?
far away from it because they can't win a playoff.
Here, I got a longer
game.
arm. Maybe I can. Oh no, it's still too far.
DK Metcalf, 150 million. We still can't go. Anyway, that was fun. Yeah. So here's what I'll say about this: Pickens and Metcalf are actually very similar receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They both don't run clean routes. They both are physical deep ball receivers. They're both not the greatest route runners. However, so they're the same kind of receiver, but they're still both very valuable, and they both have number one potential. The difference is, and they both crash out. The difference is Metcalf isn't a lazy player, at least from what I understand. He's not a lazy player. He's not going to take a play off, right? And that's the issue with Pickens, right? That's the issue with Pickens. He's inconsistent in his level of intensity and commitment. Yeah. And you're signing this guy long term because you believe in that intensity and commitment. And to me, from what he's done in the NFL, he's the first true number one receiver the Steelers have had. Because to me, Pickens just isn't a true number one receiver. He is the first true number one receiver that the Steelers have had since Antonio Brown. And they needed that. And they knew they weren't going to sign Pickens long term. So this was the move. And they had to make some. I didn't think I thought maybe they'd still give Pickens a chance and kind of sign like an Amari Cooper. But they said, we're done with Pickens. Now, he still may be here, and I think people kind of want to see the Metcalf-Pickens duo. But if you're not going to sign him, there's no way you're going to keep both, right? I'm for trading him, getting a pick back for the pick you gave up for Metcalf, and getting a guy who meshes better with Metcalf. Because we had Metcalf, because of Seattle, right, for many years. It was Metcalf. He was the deep ball guy. He was the post route guy. And then you had Tyler Lockett underneath, who was more of a route technician. That's the combination the Steelers need. And Pickens and Metcalf, that's two of the same thing. And it's two guys who are both going to be needy for the ball, and there's going to be drama. So I would say get rid of Pickens. You're not going to sign him long term. Trade him and sign a route technician like a Cooper Kupp. But I think he might sign today. I don't think the Steelers are. I haven't heard anything. The Steelers are in on him. But you can still trade Pickens and draft a kind of guy like that, like a Tyler Lockett, like Lad McConkey type of receiver. That's a Cooper Kupp type receiver that can be a solid number two as a route technician.
Yeah, I agree for sure. A lot of options for the Steelers, though, like where they go there. I do agree. I think getting a wide receiver in the second or third round or second day or whatever, I think would be beneficial no matter what you do, because either way, George Pickens might be gone after this season. So it's just good to draft one anyway. And I like Calvin Austin as a 3. I really do. I like what he provided last year. I think he gets a little bit underappreciated. I think he hasn't been healthy really too much, but now, and even he was a little bit banged up last year at times, but what he provided was pretty solid as well. But yeah, I haven't heard Cooper Kupp rumors at all. Early on, like when he was about to get released, I heard like the Steelers could be interested, but that was just complete speculation.
Well, I was listening to The Fan, and I don't know how true this is, but they said that the Cowboys were a team's
Adam
interested.
Schefter reported
so
that. Yeah.
That could be that actually would make sense with all the guys restructuring their deals.
Again, they're looking for a wide receiver, and they just signed Miles Sanders to be their lead back apparently for this season. Yeah, they said
he
Who
was
are we talking
good
about?
for the
the
Eagles.
Cowboys. Because I was saying because Jake was saying they're in on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw Cowboys and Seahawks.
I didn't
Yeah.
see.
I
Oh, the
saw
Seahawks
Seahawks.
make
They
a
need
lot
a
of sense.
receiver.
Yeah,
Seahawks
because
make sense.
You have
I just looked
JSN,
at-
and then you get Cooper Kupp.
I just looked
Yeah.
at the
and they got Marquez
Valdez
Scantling.
and then I just looked at the depth chart. They have John Rice Plumlee as their like second string, like one of the
nice.
wide receivers, and they have
Nice.
Jake Bobo, so they're very deep at wide receiver.
Oh, he was
Obviously
UCLA,
right now.
right? Bobo?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
he was from Duke, then went to UCLA
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
yeah, Jake Bobo.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So-
they're
Now, so let's stick on quarterbacks. So we all thought Justin Fields was coming to Pittsburgh.
or would be the best option.
Would be the best option. Yeah, I don't think because I actually predict. I said I don't think unless if the Steelers don't match the offer of other teams or go beyond that, he's not going to want to come here because they benched him. Why would I want to come back to a team? How can I trust Mike Tomlin? We went over that, right? And I think the sign that it wasn't going to happen was when DK Metcalf came to Pittsburgh, because Justin Fields, his best trait isn't accuracy and reading the field and getting the ball to the playmakers, right? And if you're signing a guy like DK Metcalf, who's a veteran, who's going to be here for 5 years, you want to start searching for the guy or someone who can be close to that until we get that. And Justin Fields, to be as far as a passer goes, especially if you're going to have Metcalf and Pickens, that's just not going to work. And I think that was the biggest sign. I think they did want him back, but it kind of showed that, like, are they really in on him if they sign DK Metcalf? They want a guy from the pocket. They want a guy who could pass the ball and get the ball to Metcalf accurately. But the Steelers were giving him like $20 million guaranteed, and like
I think wasn't it 2 years 30 with 20 million, I think? And
Yeah,
then
something like
the Jets
that.
was 2 for 40 with 30 guaranteed.
yeah, something like that. And I think what the Jets gave him was the maximum amount I would have gave him. I still think it's too much, genuinely. And I respect that he took the money. I understand it. I understand how he could feel resentment towards the Steelers, although he was a good soldier throughout the whole thing last year. But this is going to end poorly for him. I mean, if he's unless they have a great offensive coach in the Jets that I haven't heard about, I don't think he was going to learn to read the field here. He's definitely not going to learn to read the field in New York.
Well, I heard rumors Nathaniel Hackett's still wandering around the Meadowlands out there. No, I'm joking though. But yeah, it is unfortunate for Fields because it does seem like a spot that's going to be tough for him to succeed in, just based on the franchise he's going to. But again, I don't know if there was much more confidence he'd be able to grow and succeed here, just based on the offensive drought that we've been in terms of good coaches and in terms of actually developing quarterbacks and players and having a good offensive scheme. But yeah, it is. It does kind of suck because I did want Fields to stay here. I thought he had the most upside of the potential, the highest ceiling of the remaining of a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers or a 37-year-old Russell Wilson or whatever, which is not saying too much, but still he showed Ohio State he has the potential if he could just learn how to read the field a little better with his speed, with his pocket awareness at times. Sometimes he was the worst in the pocket, but to lead the Steelers maybe to a 12-13 win season, actually give them a chance, right? Because for me, it felt like with Fields, it was either going to be a little bit better Steelers team or a worse Steelers team. I just think because they were 4-2 with him, but the teams they played, it was the Falcons with Kirk Cousins' first game, and that really didn't go well for the Falcons last season. It was Bo Nix's first home game as a rookie and everything, and then it was the Giants and whatever. Or it wasn't the Giants, but It's just the Raiders. So I just think I would have liked to see more, and just whatever you get out of him. If they do win 6-7 games, you get a higher draft pick, and you can actually restart a rebuild and push for championships down the line. So
Yeah, and with Justin Fields, I mean, he's making what 35 million guaranteed, right?
30 million.
30
million.
guaranteed.
I mean, he's set for life based on those 2 years. So I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna put any blame on him for going to the Jets,
No.
but that's a very like even though you're maybe not going into this situation, you might want right away. It's so hard to back that down, and he might be a warrior. He might be saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go here and prove that I deserve to be a starting quarterback in this
Well,
league." And I hope he does well. I really do.
yeah,
So.
if he becomes like a really good player for the Jets, that will really open eyes because of the situation, like we've said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him for not joining the Steelers just based on money and also based on what they did to him. I mean, they benched him when he was 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta hurt for sure. And like you said, Peyton, he was a soldier for the Steelers. He didn't say anything bad or nothing, no malice towards the Steelers publicly or anything. And yeah, so wish nothing but the best for him. But hopefully it looks better than.
Now here's my question: would you? So the recent prediction for Rodgers signing here would be 2 years, $60 million. What they say, like $35 million guaranteed, or $40 million.
I think it might have been 40,
know.
something like that.
Right. So to me, I'd rather have Rodgers for that amount than Fields for 2 years, $40 million. Now 2 years, $90 million, like it was first reported. I'd rather have Fields, but 2 years, $60 million. I'd rather have Rodgers. Am I wrong on that?
It depends what you prefer. You know what I mean? If you want the quarterback that might be the best currently right now, then yeah. If you wanted to try to find the quarterback of the future any way you can, then you would say Fields. It just depends on your mindset. Maybe, if you think you can win with a veteran quarterback, then Rodgers would be the guy you would rather have. But it just all depends on what you want. I am almost certain that Tomlin is going to prefer a veteran quarterback anyway.
Tomlin loves Rodgers.
He likes his veteran quarterback. So that makes sense to me why he would push for that. That's why he pushed for Wilson to start whenever Fields went 4-2, because he wanted the veteran that can make those good decisions, and it worked for the first 13 games or whatever. So,
I think that Rodgers is the better player, and I think from a money standpoint, it makes more sense to sign Fields. But I like your point, and it makes you think like. Are the Steelers more concerned about just being good enough and finding the best guy that fits just being good enough right now? Or are they more concerned about finding the guy of the future, even if he may not be the best guy available, but his upside and his age shows that he could be the guy of the future? To me, that shows that, to a lot of people, I think it shows that are they serious about finding the right quarterback for the future? And to me, that they just have a short vision in terms of, who's the guy who can win right now instead of who's the guy who can win the next 10 years. I'm not saying Fields is that guy. I don't think he would be.
But there's a
but
chance.
At least
there's
there'd
at least
be a chance.
Yeah.
And the more that they keep switching quarterbacks, and what? Tomlin is 0 for 5 on quarterbacks now with different quarterbacks. Since Ben retired. I mean, the more they keep switching quarterbacks, the more it shows the fan base that we don't have a plan for the future. We're just concerned about being okay right now.
And even if you look at the offseason where they grabbed Trubisky and Pickett, like that, to my knowledge, unless they were to have traded for a Russell Wilson, that there wasn't many options at quarterback to grab after Big Ben, if I'm not mistaken, right? Again, other than trading for Wilson, which the Steelers weren't going to do at the time, there wasn't many options. So they felt like a guy like drafting Kenny Pickett in the first round, who has college experience, that would give them the best chance to win now. To me, like, they are looking for what is going to win them the most games this year. Because inheriting Big Ben, that's a whole different situation. You can have that outlook of a 10-year window because he's your franchise guy that you're going to have for a long time. Tomlin hasn't had to deal with, having to draft a quarterback in the first round, having to go with some uncertainty at that position because he never had that.
And they want the quick fix because they want to be competitive every year.
Right.
But that's just be competitive every year. That's not cutting it.
And there needs to be a strategic plan too, because you see some of the best organizations in the world. They have a strategic plan of what they want to do, and sometimes they may take a couple years off. But again, it's hard to blame the Steelers and to blame Tomlin because as a head coach in the NFL, you're coaching for your job every single year. One bad year and you're done. You know what I mean? Look at Doug Peterson. He got fired 3 years after he won the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, those 3 years. So it's brutal out there, and Tomlin's going to try to win as many games as he can now. If he wins 5 games, he's going to go. I don't know how much leverage or how much loyalty
Art Rooney loves
he does, but
so I don't know. I don't know how long that love goes.
But who knows in a 5-win season? So
yeah, so this is weird too. The 2-year $90 one really made me upset, honestly, because Rodgers is making a good amount of money from the Jets next season as well, just
he's
for
paid
releasing
$400 million, and that's not
in his career.
And that's not. Wow. That's
well, even
not
this
counting, commercials or whatever else he's done.
Well, even this year, the Jets are paying him after releasing him. They release him, so they're paying him, and they're paying against the cap as well. So for him for that 2-year $90, I don't know how valid that was. Now we're hearing two for $60. We're hearing that the Giants
have
offering
offered
more
him
money, which makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's why he's weighing his options. At this point, if I'm him, money shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not like a field situation.
Money shouldn't be. You're splitting hairs, honestly, with the money. And the Steelers, it's a much better organization overall, and a much better situation now. Even though it's not perfect, we know it's not perfect to win than the Giants, who are just stuck in. I don't know. Just the Giants and the Jets are stuck in that just bottom 5 every year of the NFL, and they've just been unable to get out of it since Manning. So, I think for me, if I was him, it'd be an easy decision, but. For him, I feel like every decision is the most difficult thing in his life.
Right.
Every decision he has to make.
I mean, I think for a while now, for a very long time, it's been about Aaron. Winning is not his first priority. Aaron is his first priority. Or else he'd had been to 2 or 3 Super Bowls instead of 1. Mm-hmm. Because he gets prickly. I mean, and that's my concern about him coming with the Steelers is if guys aren't running the right routes, he's not going to throw the ball to them. And if it's 4th down and 5, he'd rather throw the ball away than take a hit. Right? These are things that this is Aaron being about Aaron. And with Pickens, if you have Pickens and Metcalf, these guys are not route technicians. There's going to be issues there. The big play ability is much more. There's much more room for that to happen with Rodgers, but I don't know. I don't see that mixing very well. But I do think he's the most talented. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's very complicated. It's very complicated.
Well, it is interesting. It all comes down to really what the Steelers want from the Steelers' perspective. What do they want out of their quarterback for this year? It just feels like they want Aaron Rodgers. Because they're just Russell Wilson's visiting the Giants, he's visiting the Browns.
He's tired of waiting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand for sure. And but Aaron Rodgers is kind of holding this whole thing up, and he's holding the Steelers hostage. We don't like hostages, but he's holding the Steelers hostage right now. And Wilson honestly has been known as a deep ball guy. He was literally a deep ball.
He knows Metcalf.
And he knows Metcalf. He was playing with Pickens last year. I'm starting to just like Russell Wilson coming back. If it's between those two, over Rodgers.
But I still think there's potential. I feel like Aaron though has more boom or bust potential than
I agree.
Than Russ. But I think Russ is maybe a better fit for the offense. But and the other thing is, Arthur Smith and Russ, we were actually cooking, remember? And then Arthur Smith stopped allowing Russ to audible. And then, now, I don't know if Arthur Smith and Russ can't get along. How is Aaron and Arthur Smith going to get along? It's just there's a lot of concerns. That's why I just feel like there's downsides to both of these guys. Russ is obviously the more positive, uplifting character, whereas Aaron, there's going to be drama. That's why I feel like, so like we've talked about the upside and downside. Either way, like most likely you're going to end up at 9-8, 10-7. I'd rather just go with Mason Rudolph, win 6 games, and draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round this year and have him learn from Mason. And then if you don't like that quarterback, if you have the opportunity at a quarterback next year, draft a quarterback then. So I'm kind of leaning towards that, to be honest with you. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't accept their offer. Although I want to see Aaron Rodgers because it would be fun, but
it would be.
It would be
more
entertaining.
Fun. It would be more entertaining.
Yeah. But then,
because I think he does have ball left in him. I think his people are saying, oh, he stinks. I don't think he completely stinks yet. I don't think he's. I mean, he's obviously not the same player, but I don't think he's completely washed. I mean, if you look how he did with the Jets the last 5-10 games, like he looked pretty well, and the Jets were just a dysfunctional mess. A lot of that being his fault, but his play on the field was
Their
still kind
defense
of
was bad too. Though after Saleh, after they let
right.
go
But
of him.
whose fault was it that Saleh left?
Yeah.
It was what's his name's the owner's son, Woody Johnson's son. It was his fault. We're gonna blame that guy. No, the kid was actually he would be a better owner than his dad, I think, for sure. I mean, that guy's okay. I'm going on a rant there.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, if the Steelers were to sign Rodgers, I don't think they'll draft a quarterback at all in this draft, let alone with the top
there's no
3
room.
round. Yeah, there's no room at all. I don't think they're gonna cut.
You have Skylar Thompson,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
third-string quarterback.
And as much as we can make jokes about that, I don't think they would have signed him this early on just to.
They were ready.
In.
They were so excited.
Like
for
I
him.
know that sounds weird,
They
but
signed
like
so early.
I think that if you as a fan are interested in a quarterback in this draft, you're kind of rooting for the Steelers not to get Rodgers, because then that would just, like, them signing Rudolph made it sure that it's either if Rodgers comes here, then there's not going to be a drafted quarterback. That it's kind of weird, like, looking back on it, but them signing Rudolph just destroyed any chance. And with Rodgers, I don't know when they'll have someone sit behind them, or if any. I don't know if they're going to address that position after. It kind of depends what the Steelers want to do, so that's also something to keep your eye on.
If Rodgers, the fact that he's taking so long, I don't know if is he contemplating retirement, or is he waiting for the Vikings to give him an offer? Because he wants to complete the Brett Favre prophecy.
Yeah, it's just if
I don't know.
If I'm the Vikings, like, Kevin O'Connell can develop. Like, he brought Sam Darnold
he can make
to life.
anybody good.
I think J.J. McCarthy should be good for them. Like, I don't see why not. So everyone's raving. Everyone said he'd be the first overall pick in this draft.
And
so
Aaron,
I don't know.
They would pull the rug underneath Aaron if it wasn't going well, and they'd put in J.J. McCarthy. So
Yeah.
I don't. With the Steelers and Giants, you're guaranteed the job.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on in his head, or maybe he's just doing it just because he likes taking his time and people talking about him.
And you could say,
I don't know.
And you could say J.J. McCarthy could learn from Rodgers, but unless he
Rodgers.
was just not on the sideline during his whole injured season, he had to have learned something during that year, right, McCarthy? So
Right.
I don't know why the Vikings would try to ruin that. Like,
He already had 1 year.
Yeah, and O'Connell needs to have some playoff wins under his belt, and you don't want to play veteran roulette at this point. You finally have a guy that you drafted in the first round that you feel like you can develop. So I just don't see that happening. But I guess we'll see. You never know, though. You never know in the NFL. So
I want to pivot. We've gone long enough in this show, in this episode, without mentioning Daniel Jones to the
Yes.
to the
Let's
Indianapolis
go.
Colts.
Let's go.
And he's going to be the starter, I am pretty sure, because
Let's go.
Anthony,
I don't know why you guys aren't hyped.
I'm hyped. That's
I'm
what
not hyped.
I brought
Exactly,
it up.
Sorry, I'm
Peyton.
not
You
hyped.
gotta be hyped.
Woo!
My
I brought
poor
it up.
guy Shane Steichen
He's
gets
gonna-
another shit
Your
quarterback.
Overrated.
your offensive genius is gonna turn around Daniel Jones. Watch.
If he does, you
What if
can't
he
say
does?
that.
Over. Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean,
That is
Brian.
true.
But the thing is, Brian Dable did it for 1 year and then couldn't get anything else out
But
of
the
him.
Giants had nothing else, though. To be fair.
Remember that
You know
Daniel
what I mean?
Jones play against the Eagles when he was running all the way down and he fell down? He was about to get that rushing
Yeah.
touchdown.
Was
Like
that the
80.
Commanders or the Eagles? I thought.
I
I
thought
think
it was
the Eagles.
I thought it was in
think.
Phil. I swear it was
think.
in Philadelphia because I remember. But
Da-da-da-da. I've seen like clips. He's like da da no, there he goes. Oh, and he falls.
Yeah, but if I'm a Colts fan, I gotta be honest. If I'm a Colts fan,
I'm so pissed if I'm a Colts fan, though.
I'm like,
Like,
what are
that's
we
why
doing?
I feel like you're giving Shane Steichen peanuts here. Like this is.
Like, do they just not have much cap
And
space?
I think the part of it though, is that they still want Anthony Richardson to work out, and they're hoping like maybe bring in Daniel Jones, like he could beat out Daniel Jones, and I don't know.
Well, I was hearing
Because he's still on this team, so I don't know.
If Richardson loses this QB battle with Jones,
He's done.
that's like the litmus test that you're a backup in your career, because this is as fair as it's gonna get of a quarterback competition. And but they gave Jones a decent amount of money
$14 million. That's
to where it feels like
It could get to $17 million
With
if I'm
the-
not,
Yeah,
unless something
he's
like
going
that.
to the Pro Bowl. Get $3
Shane
million.
Everybody goes to the Pro Bowl.
Well, whatever incentives they put
Yeah.
in.
But yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due. If Daniel Jones becomes like a world beater or something this year, I gotta bow down to Shane Steichen. I gotta apologize. I have to do an apology tour. I have to go to Indianapolis and apologize to Shane Steichen because. But I said he was very good. I just don't think he's this like quarterback guru. I'm standing on that. Okay, until I'm proven wrong.
I mean, yeah. I
gotta
would say
see it more.
I could say he's very good. I mean, I guess I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
I just,
We just had a little.
I was pride. I was.
You were.
I just felt like he was being attacked. That's all. Don't attack Shane Steichen.
Don't attack Nick Sirianni.
No, I can't agree to that. But like honestly, like I think Daniel Jones his athleticism is intriguing, but like I think the Steelers getting Mason Rudolph for 2 years, $8 million is better than them getting Daniel Jones. I think Mason is better than. But he's a better passer. I think he's a better passer.
I don't know. I think they're pretty similar actually, but
but Daniel is a much better athlete. But I think Mason is a much better
just
passer.
Overall, I'm saying, just like overall, I think it's pretty even.
Well, you have to look at maybe the Colts are thinking. I don't know if this is what they're thinking, but maybe they're thinking, hey, look at what Daniel Jones was able to do under whenever Saquon Barkley had that full healthy season where he was very good. They have Jonathan Taylor here with the Colts now. Daniel Jones was a good running quarterback that season when he was a Pro Bowler. He ran for over 700 yards while Barkley ran for about 1,200 or so. So, I mean, Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor could work. I know that's weird to think if you're a fan at home, but, like, maybe they're looking at this and say, hey, we have this dominant running back. They're still, obviously, like you said, are going to give Richardson a chance. I'm shocked if they just completely move from him. Maybe they're thinking, assuming Daniel Jones is in line to be the starter, and if he does start, it could kind of work out where they make the playoffs. I just don't know where they feel the ceiling is with Daniel Jones. So
is this a year where they kind of like it wouldn't hurt the Colts to have a 6-win season and try to get their quarterback in the future as well because it feels like they've been in a very similar spot the Steelers have been actually because how many games they were 8-9 last year or something. They're in that same vicinity. They just missed last year with Gardner Minshew.
The Steelers are a lesser version of the Colts because the Colts have been in QB turmoil for how many years now since Andrew Luck?
Yeah, they haven't been able to. I mean, they've tried.
It's been
with
every
Wentz
single year as a new guy.
And they tried
and
with
they had
Wentz
some success with Rivers.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs, almost beat the Bills in that wild card game. He had a good year, but then he was done after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need another receiver too. I think Pittman's kind of I don't know if he's a 1. I feel like he would be an excellent 2. I don't know. Maybe I'm undervaluing him, but I feel like
get Cooper Kupp for my boy Danny Dimes.
That would be
very helpful.
I can't get over the fact that the Rams couldn't find a trade partner for Cooper Kupp and they released him.
The Colts improved their defense. They did get some.
They were so old.
Yeah,
but he was so Cooper Kupp.
No, I was gonna say like, are teams scared about his contract and injury ratio? Like
He has been hurt a little bit, but I would sign him. I would trade for him immediately for the right price.
Right.
Because Cooper Kupp, he's proven, and he led the league in receiving yards at least. Well, I can't remember how many times, but he's been a bona fide number 1, top 5 receiver in the NFL.
He's not that.
No, I mean
anymore,
like but he has been.
It's crazy. Like you look at these teams that maybe were not willing to trade maybe like a 4th-round pick for a guy like that, and then the 4th-round pick they use goes to someone that doesn't really have an impact on the team. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like I don't know who what's going on.
Who'd the Colts bring in on the defense?
They got Ward. They got a
Oh,
corner.
Trevor.
They finally got a
yeah.
corner, and they got a safety.
They need some D-line help, too.
Cameron Bynum.
I've heard of that.
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, the Vikings. I mean,
Yeah. So and I think they got some D linemen too.
Yeah, they need a better pass rush. They just have like DeForest Buckner still there, and I like DeForest Buckner, but he's getting old now, and his production's waning a little bit.
Is he in his 30s now, or did
Yeah.
he just turn 30?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's somewhere. He might be like 32, but
Yeah.
you don't see these D linemen lasting as long. We saw with
Right.
Aaron Donald.
Like Cam Hayward's
even
an
Cam
anomaly
Hayward.
right
Yeah, I
now.
know. It is really crazy what he's been able to do.
My point about Daniel, I'm just glad the Steelers got Mason. I feel like it was just such a good deal because if you actually look at how Mason Rudolph,
it was.
he threw a lot of interceptions last year, but he was like slinging the ball around last
They
year.
had a
the
terrible
Titans.
offensive
and they had
line.
nobody. They
Yeah.
have nobody over there in Tennessee.
Well, they have Calvin Ridley. But other than
And
that,
honestly, like,
yeah,
they had no O-line.
he was
They didn't
slinging.
have
I'm
any
just saying he
protection.
was slinging it around.
Yeah.
well, if you don't get Rodgers and Rudolph's your starter, honestly, he's a fantastic guy to learn from. I mean, he went through it all. He went from sitting behind Big Ben, getting his chance, getting hurt, and then
Being the third
yeah,
string.
for a bit. And yeah, exactly. And then he comes in, does
Dude,
really
Mitch
well in
Trubisky
a
keeps
3-game
getting paid
stretch.
more than him. He's 10 times the quarterback Mitch Trubisky
Yeah, I
is.
mean, Rudolph's a fantastic guy to learn. I mean, you don't have to sign Rodgers if you don't want it. Like, if you like a quarterback in this draft and you want to take him, you don't have to sign Rodgers.
I'm
really.
very conflicted because part of me wants to see Rodgers.
I don't-
Part of
yeah,
me,
I agree.
But my heart wants Rodgers because I'm a fan. My head knows that we don't need this. This is not gonna. It's all gonna end the same.
So
Probably.
So I'm
or
saying-
it's gonna bust. The best case scenario is it busts or it goes
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening.
You just don't want to be stuck in the same spot.
Yeah.
the Steelers, I would be absolutely shocked if Mason Rudolph was the starter.
Yeah.
To start the year, just because
I think they'll still try and get Russ. If Rodgers goes to the Giants or
Yeah.
retires, I think they're still going to try and
Yeah.
get
Because-
Russ because
They will.
they're. It's like putting a Band-Aid on the
they just got
on the
signed.
gush wound.
They just got DK Metcalf and signed to extension. This isn't I just feel like
Yeah, exactly.
the urgency here. It seems like it's something where
Yeah.
they want to. They don't want to do what we think they probably should do, which is win 6 or 7
But
games.
to
'Cause
play
again- yeah.
devil's advocate, you have DK Metcalf for 5
Right,
years.
right.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Tomlin sees that as we're past the point of rebuilds because if you would have went
They
through
never
the rebuild,
tried a
exactly.
rebuild.
No,
They
that's what I
never
mean. No,
did.
that's what I mean. Because you, whenever Big Ben retires, that's when you start, and it just never happened. So now, if you rebuild now with not much playoff success before, I don't know how much Rooney's gonna question Tomlin's job, but that's gonna be put in the question again. Like I mentioned before, I don't blame Tom. Like if I'm a coach, I'm doing whatever I can to win. I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna coach my last NFL game. You never know.
But
So,
for
like, I
him,
don't
at
think-
least, like
at least
he has a lot of options.
Yeah,
If he
so,
were to,
right.
and I don't like. It kind of feels like he wants to be here, but that's kind of his like really fierceness of wanting to still be here has gone
Right.
down a little bit. I think because there has been interest from other teams. Remember when Washington came calling and he was like
That was
considering.
a few years ago, right?
Yeah, he was considering that, but I just feel like I don't know, like the fans are kind of turning on him. I think rightfully so. But like, if that would be if he did win 6 or 7, like everybody always says, every team in the league would snatch him out of thin air immediately after the Steelers got rid of him. Well, okay, then he should be okay with that then, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if Art Rooney likes him so much, he could have been able to go through this rebuilding process
Yeah.
without doing it the right way without having his job in jeopardy. But they
Yeah.
haven't.
Maybe Tomlin doesn't see it that way, even with the
No.
security. But maybe they never had a conversation about that. So maybe
Yeah.
they're just both. They both might just be in the mindset of trying to do as much as they can to win. You know what I mean? So
what else? What are some of the other big
So-
name?
Well, I do want to. Since we've been talking Steelers, let's just finish up the Steelers
Okay.
because. So I will say this. I think they missed out on a lot of opportunities to do more to really improve the team because of this whole Rodgers situation. They could have gotten out and gotten some defensive lineman that was, that could have really helped beef up the line after getting rid of Ogunjobi. They could have gotten a younger corner and spent some money on a I don't know how young Charvarius Ward is, but or a Carlton Davis, somebody who's you're going to sign to a multi-year contract to be a stud for you guys.
Did Jared Alexander sign anywhere? I know that was the name we threw out
Yeah.
last episode.
No. He's with the Packers still. He's a trade.
Oh,
They're looking to trade him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's still on the mark. It's still on the table possibly, but it looks. I doubt that because again.
JPJ's a man-to-man, so is Slay.
Well,
so.
and they got Darius Slay. That's what I want to talk about. I don't think it's what we were hoping for. What's funny?
No, I just saw that Alan Green just said that if Pitt were to make the NIT, they would decline it. I just read their statement about it.
Who are they to decline that?
No, you want me to read the statement here?
Please do.
Coach Capel and I are fully committed to positioning Pitt basketball for sustained success in the ACC and NCAA tournament. Our responsibility is to relentlessly evaluate and enhance every aspect of our program, ensuring it reflects the championship spirit of our city. Because that work is already underway, we've determined that the best path forward for our program is to forego postseason tournaments this year as we build for the future. We're building for the future here.
I guess that just puts the responsibilities full on recruiting in a year where they felt kind of was lost. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted our Steeler. What were we saying about this? What Steeler thing?
Okay, I was saying I feel like they have improved the corner room.
Oh yeah,
not to the degree that we would like to see, but I absolutely think Darius Slay, despite his age, is going to be an upgrade from Dante Jackson. Look, because he was a Pro Bowler 3 times. Until last year, and it's because they got 2 of the best rookie cornerbacks we've seen come out and be that good.
Yeah,
that's not his fault.
What a draft, man!
Yeah.
What a draft!
The Eagles know what they're doing. I wanted Quinyon Mitchell so bad because I was like, this guy, he went to Toledo, was a first-round pick, could have transferred anywhere he wanted to going into his last season and didn't. That speaks a lot to your character.
I
know what I mean?
I love Toledo.
Yeah, I like looking at these things. I'm like, wow, this kid could have played at Ohio State and decide not
Toledo's the Alabama of the MAC. We all, I think, are familiar with that, and so I just think we love Toledo, and Toledo just showed Pitt earlier why they're.
I honestly just forgot about that. I had that erased from my memory. That game.
Well, I'm bringing it back, buddy. You need to remember.
No, we never forget. Never forget.
But in terms of the Darius Slay thing, I kind of disagree. I thought Dante Jackson everybody was saying how great, a really good job he was doing until the end of the season where he was just awful.
He wasn't that good overall. If you look
in totality, he was average.
Darius Slay is a 6-time Pro Bowler. He had been a Pro Bowler 3 straight years until last year. So I'm saying the Eagles releasing him, it's not an indictment on Slay. It's we're not going to spend money when we already have our 2 corners.
Yeah.
So I think it's
I think it's an upgrade. I'm just saying
maybe not as much of an upgrade as we like, and there's still the age factor, which is a concern. And I think people have said Pat Pete 2.0, but I think that's an unfair comparison.
Nah, I mean Patrick Peterson was already.
Ow. I hit my. I'm okay. Go ahead, continue.
I was gonna say Patrick Peterson. The Steelers signed him knowing he was at the tail end of his career. I mean, Slay really isn't. You could say maybe last year was sort of, it wasn't the best of seasons for his standards, but I still think it's a massive upgrade. So.
Yeah, and the other guy, what was the guy's name that they got from?
Brandon Eccles. I said Nichols.
I always forget.
Brandon Eccles. He's not great overall, but he's versatile.
He's a depth corner.
I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he's basically what Cam Sutton was last year. So that's an upgrade.
Hopefully,
from Cam
much better version.
Cam
in
Sutton
that
was
role.
so bad.
It was not good. And so now the question is it kind of seems like if they do draft a corner, it might be really late. I just don't see them drafting a corner very high with them getting 2 corners in free agency. I was hoping maybe they did try to go for a corner in the first round, unless they got my guy Carlton Davis or Darius Slay. Honestly, he's not exactly as good in my opinion as Carlton Davis was last year. I mean, when you watch the Lions, he just jumped off the screen. He was making crazy interceptions for them.
I'm all for getting I'm still open to getting a top tier corner in the draft because you could never have enough corners.
I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're.
I don't think they should first round unless you you're a guy like Quinyon Mitchell late in the first round, it's so tough to find a good cornerback.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Yeah.
Artie Burns. I can name a few others from other teams.
Artie-
Oh my
Mike Hughes,
gosh.
Mike Hughes, a guy who the Packers draft, Eric Stokes. Like there's
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
so hard to find a really good
Eric
cornerback
Stokes.
late in the
Yeah.
first round. And
He signed.
yeah.
I think he just signed with the Raiders. Eric.
Really?
Stokes.
Did he?
Yeah.
And not saying those guys are bad players, but I mean, cornerback is such a hard position to develop. It really like there's only a select few that are in the top like category of the NFL.
I think what
It's
the
so
Steelers
tough.
really need in terms of corner to work on is just Joey Porter's continued development. I just
Yeah.
think if he cuts down the penalties a little bit, I think
Right.
he could be
Yeah.
He
a
needs to
very
wo-
good corner in the
Just
league.
trust his
And he- at the-
body.
Near
He's
the
not
end of the
trusting
year,
his body.
he wasn't committing as many penalties at the end of the season.
Right.
We need to see that sustained going into next season. I think that's the biggest development, or what the Steelers could hope for, because he has the potential to be a lockdown corner,
Yeah.
just not when you're committing the most penalties per game in the NFL.
And for the Steelers, I mean, look at the last time they had a lot of success at the cornerback position. It was Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson. In the NFL, a lot of these teams have a lot of success with these good veteran cornerbacks. Maybe not 35-year-olds, but guys that are in the prime of their career, like in between 27 to 32. Like, as the Steelers, lack of a better term, you can go the transfer portal route where you don't develop, but you bring in these guys that you don't develop. To me, like that's how you get the most success out of the cornerback position. So to me, like I would draft a cornerback for depth. I would not draft one in the first round though, if I were them.
And I think they really still think Corey Trice can be good.
Yeah.
But he did not look great.
It was
last
just
year.
injuries though too.
Yeah.
You never know.
Because
so.
last year was really his rookie year.
They still
Yeah.
think I heard they still think James Pierre could be really good, and I think
Well, they also have the West Virginia kid.
If he is back,
Beanie
if
Bishop.
that man is back next year, I'm gonna lose my mind. How is he still on this team?
Is he still on the team?
Let's look.
I
He
just
has
want-
to
I
be.
just-
I mean, how many years has this been? Now?
don't know, but yeah, you were saying Beanie Bishop. Yeah,
terrible.
so they have depth
He
right
was
now.
getting playing time last year. Like, just
I know,
get it, at
yeah,
least get
I-
it to the point this year where he's not. That guy is not on the field. Please,
Practice squad.
please.
Yeah, but it will be interesting.
He's with the Steelers still. Great, great.
Crash out incoming on James Pierre. We love the.
James Pierre, he was an FAU Owl, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh
We
wow.
love
Pretty
the
sure,
Owls.
yeah.
We love
We
the
love the
Owls.
Owls. Florida Atlantic.
Yes, we do. We love the Owls. It's unfortunate that what's his name left the Owls to go to Michigan, and now they're not as good in the NCAA for basketball.
Oh, I was
But they were a college basketball powerhouse.
Oh, their head coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name is I'm seeing his face, but
I can find the name. So
it's not Mike.
FAU
It's not Mike.
basketball records. His name is Dustin May.
Dusty May.
Dusty May. Yeah, Dusty May.
Dusty May. there it is.
35-4 is incredible.
He was a really good coach.
Yeah, he
He took
is.
Michigan was supposed to do nothing this
No.
year, and now they're going to be a 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But what were we saying? So
What happened to the crash out coach from Michigan? What was
oh,
his name?
Juwan Howard, they let
Yeah.
him go.
Oh, yeah, he's been
What's
Yeah.
he doing? Is he coaching?
He's
anymore?
He can't be a head coach, I don't think, right?
I think he's on an NBA staff, if I'm not mistaken now.
Wait, I need to. There we go.
assistant for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, because I
Yes.
seen him somewhere. I was like, I thought I saw him somewhere. Oh, did you see? I was watching Bucks Pace. Did you see that? Tyrese Halliburton hit that three, and he was fouled, and it was a 4-point play, and then the Pacers went up and they ended up winning. But what's his name? The former Lakers coach who's on their staff now. Darn it! Why is his name?
Is he a white guy?
No, it's the It's not Doc Rivers. It's the guy who's the Lakers coach, and everybody hate him, and they let go of him.
Oh yeah, Charles Barkley's like he did a good job. Lakers got rid of
yeah.
him. Lakers former head coach.
Oh, was it Frank Vogel?
No, that's who I was
Oh,
thinking
that's who you were
of.
thinking.
No, the
Darvin Ham.
Darvin Ham.
Darvin Ham.
Gosh darn it. Yeah, Darvin
Oh.
Ham. He had his hands. He wasn't even looking at Tyrese Halliburton. He had his hands in his pocket. It was like looking in another direction. He was just like, I don't even care what that. Like Doc Rivers, like, You know, because he's like watching the play.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, and Darvin Ham's just like looking at another
Doc
direction.
Rivers with the Pacers.
No, the Bucks. The Bucks. He was the Buck. This is the. I was looking. It's the Bucks.
Is he the head
coaching
coach
staff.
of the Bucks?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was with the Clippers.
He
hasn't been with the
that was a
Clippers
long
in
time
years.
ago. Yeah, I was gonna say
He was
76ers.
No, he was
I
with
think
the
was most-
76ers.
Yeah.
It was Clippers, 76ers. Now he's with the. I didn't know he's with the Bucks.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Bucks
wow.
hired him because they wanted, I guess, an experienced.
He
head
always
coach,
loses
but-
in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say it, but you know what I was gonna say.
Hey, what? Yeah.
He's the somebody of the
Wow.
NBA.
Wow. Anyway, let's talk about the Steelers' defensive line because they haven't done anything with that yet. Are they gonna? Do we think they're gonna draft D lineman in the first?
No.
I think so.
First round?
I do you really?
Yeah, they got rid of Ogunjobi.
But they have Hayward and Benton.
But they don't have anybody else.
Who do they?
after
They
but
that.
in the first,
Loudermilk.
but like I don't know in the
Who-
first round.
what
though.
else are they gonna draft?
They
Unless
could,
they draft guard again, but they've drafted offensive
they
line
draft
2
guard
years.
again, if
It-
Mm.
They've drafted offensive line the last 2 years. I wanted them to spend on a
That's
guard.
so embarrassing if they draft
I wanted
a
them to
guard in
get
the first
a
round.
big
Yeah.
time offensive lineman in free agency, but they haven't done that.
Hmm.
But this offensive line is going to stay the same no matter who they get.
Yeah.
Because now you have more changes because you have Fatanu coming back. You're going to have to move Jones to left tackle. Jones has been moved around like a rag doll. Dan Moore is probably going to turn into a star.
Got paid.
Now he's
He
with
did get
a great
paid.
offensive line coach, Brian Callahan.
That's kind of cool. What's his son's name? So they
Who's
got
the coach? Or wait, maybe I'm confusing their names, but
because both of them are on the staff. The dad's the O line coach.
but
and
he's
then,
like a really good
yeah.
O-line coach.
Brian Callahan's
Bill
the head
Callahan.
coach.
Bill
Yeah, I was gonna
Callahan.
say.
Bill Callahan, Brian Callahan's the head coach, but Bill Callahan is the offensive line guru.
Yeah.
So that they gave Dan Moore better turn into a stud because that was a ridiculous amount of money.
But it's kind of like the norm with offensive line now. Like these linemen get paid so
People
much.
are realizing how important it is
Yeah.
to have these O linemen.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's interesting now?
and the Steelers have they've been so on the
Yeah.
offensive line.
It'll be interesting to see one team that has now all of a sudden. Last year they had issues O line, but now really do is the Kansas City Chiefs because they just lost Joe Tooney.
Yeah, that's a big
They're
one.
doing all, and I just don't.
I want to talk. Go ahead, but
No,
that
no,
leads me to another thing.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
That
you
was-
go ahead.
I was just saying. That's what I was saying. They gotta. I don't know what they're doing there. At they need some O linemen for sure. But the
They'll
Chiefs.
be drafting. The Chiefs always figure.
I
it
know.
out.
I'm just saying. Like.
Now here's a team I think a lot of people, maybe not even enough, that has done a great job this free agency is the Chicago Bears. They have They have. Don't laugh.
I know they have.
No,
but
we just like it because that's one of your teams.
I know they have, but it's just like I
Well-
keep hearing that because they went after all these O linemen. They got all
Yes,
the O
they
linemen.
did. Like that's what they had to
Yeah.
do, and they did, and they
Yeah.
beefed up the D line too. They got Joe Tooney.
Yeah.
They got the guy from the Rams, I believe, Jonah Jackson. Isn't he? Was
Yeah.
he with the Rams?
Yeah. They got the one guy
And they got somebody else.
from the Lions. Was it someone from the Lions? I can't remember who it was from. Yeah. I think they did good there.
Jonah Jackson and center. So Jackson's a tackle. Joe Thuney will move back to guard, and then they have the center from the Falcons, Drew Dalman.
Falcons. Yeah, they gave him a lot
And
of money.
speaking of Falcons, dude, they got Grady Jarrett.
Falcons.
that's a
Oh,
big
I like
pickup.
Grady Jarrett a lot. Yeah.
That's a big pickup.
Falcons. Are they? What are we doing here, Falcons? You need.
They got a pass rusher.
Who'd they-
They got Leonard Floyd.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I don't know how
Is he
good
washed
he is.
yet? Is he
I don't
washed
know.
now?
Let me look up his.
Well, he was big in the Rams Super Bowl, if I'm not
Yeah, he
mistaken.
was.
Right? Like, or in their run, I should say.
And he had good numbers. It was either
Okay,
the
he's
Rams.
32. That's not that old.
How many
Yeah.
years did they sign him for?
They
I
needed
don't
they needed a Bosa or something. They
They
needed
needed-
like
yeah, there was guys they could.
they needed an impact guy.
Dude, he was so bad. He's below average.
Who?
Leonard Floyd.
Was
I'm
that
looking
according to
at his
PFF?
according to PFF.
Yeah, I mean that you
I
never
don't-
know.
Yeah,
with that.
PFF
I
is a
know.
weird.
Yeah, but the fact that he's
Oh.
below average on PFF, I mean, look, it's all in the yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
All right. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it will be interesting. So there are some, So the Steelers, their depth in terms of D tackle, they still got Isaiah Loudermilk, right? Is he still there? We love Isaiah
I think
Loudermilk.
so, yeah.
They still have that Lowry. You know the Lowry guy? What's
Dean
that?
Lowry,
Dean
really?
Lowry.
I'm shocked they didn't cut him yet.
I think they still have. Do they still have him?
Interesting.
He's the James Pierre of the defensive line.
No, he.
Dean Lowry, you
no,
don't like Dean Lowry?
No,
I'm
No.
halfway kidding, but
no. He every time he came in, I felt like he made like a little bit of an impact, like run stopping or whatever.
I
But
think
how does
that's what he
Brian Flores
majority
not
did
have a
anyway.
job, a head coaching job? That's like a sin.
wow, I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I haven't even thinking of that because like free agency and everything, you don't even realize. Yeah, so I honestly think that's where they're heading in the first round.
Right.
D tackle, just because they've made it an issue now. They made
I
it
have
something.
no problem with getting more offensive linemen. It's just like I know that they're not going to immediately get better unless they get a guy who's like, but they're not in the top 10 of the draft.
I want them to keep
so-
the same. Now you got Fatanu back. Keep it the way it is. Get some stability there, and just go from there.
I know it's just too many. You still got McCormick. And
You really don't like, but you're really
I'm-
bothering me with this McCormick. He was a
don't-
rookie last year,
yeah,
and he
that's
was
the
very
problem.
serviceable.
He's not, but he's not good. He's not
Well,
great. He's not.
if you draft linemen early, it's going to create a lot of competition for these other guys. It might make them better.
Yes,
So,
but I don't see them doing.
yeah,
it, is my
yeah,
point.
I get what you mean.
And I'd understand why. I mean, I don't really care if they do or not because either way, things aren't going to improve. So
Yeah. Honestly, though, like I still feel like running back could be in play in the first round.
might
As much
be.
as I'd rather not see that be the case, even though they have Jalen Warren back, they never committed to him long term. They would have. They wouldn't have just put a tender
I think
on
if they
him.
do running back,
I
it'll
think
be
he
later.
deserves
Yeah.
to be the number one running back.
I
He-
do too,
he
but
has
they,
the
you never know though.
With the signing of Kenneth Gainwell and letting Najee walk for $9.5 million,
Yeah.
which you predicted, by the way, to the Chargers. We love that deal for Najee.
Yeah, I do.
and the
I'm actually
Chargers.
excited.
Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that. I gotta get that on the Instagram. I
Oh,
completely
yeah,
forgot
no,
about that.
you're good.
I gotta get that.
Yeah,
up.
Yeah, me too.
It is on YouTube though. I mean,
It's on
yeah, it
YouTube.
will be on
YouTube
Instagram by the
It
time
got.
this
I saw
episode's
it.
up, but-
I think it got a lot of views though, still, so people still seeing it. But I gotta
Yeah.
put it on the
You
gram.
tell your friends about our videos and our shorts because we're looking to cook. You know, we need subscribers. We need. Anyway, we're working hard on these shorts. We're down on our knees right now. But I think that the Kenneth
Some
Gainwell.
people are watching. Some people are watching. Okay, that just went over your head.
Okay, so Kenneth Gainwell. It's kind of a similar back to Warren. They're smaller but explosive and fast. I meant to say smaller and fast. Like they hit the holes, they go.
He's good in the receiving game. That's
and
what.
and yeah, he's more of a third down back. Yeah, but I think Warren is a guy who can, even though he's smaller, he does have the ability to break tackles and be that guy. He does remind me of like a prime Austin Eckler. Like I think he has that capability.
To me, him and Pacheco for the Chiefs are very similar. They just run really hard.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
So
So I think that shows that the days of like these big running backs are over with Arthur Smith
unless
in
you're Derrick
charge.
Henry.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's a good move. I like
Yeah.
the move.
Which that is because when Arthur Smith was at his best, he did have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But
In a veteran quarterback.
I like, and
Tannehill. We need to bring in Tannehill. Nobody's talking about Tannehill. Where's he
We
at?
almost did.
where is he at?
I think he has to be a free agent.
I
right?
don't know if this is true, but
Was
this
he wasn't even in the league last year, was he?
No, well, this is a source from Connor Howard. Apparently, Tannehill declined jobs because he wanted to be a starter. So that was what he told me. So
Oh, well, he got to realize some things.
yeah. So if that's true, yeah, I mean, like, I mean,
we'll
to
start
get-
you here in Pittsburgh.
You know
and
how
we'll-
many people would be dying for the chance to get the opportunity like that, and you're just like, no, I want to be a starter. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like work for it, dude. Like, I don't know.
He's done. He's 30. Like he's done.
Okay.
It was a good run for Ryan Tannehill there.
Let's
It was he Titans to the AFC Championship game out of nowhere.
number
That's
one
crazy.
seed.
Yeah.
The 1 year.
Yeah, the year after, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then was that the year they lost to the Patriots? What year was that where they lost to the, or did they? One of the years they lost, or maybe they were on the road for that game.
No, they beat the Patriots against Brady, or unless you're talking about the Mac
yes.
Jones one.
And then they beat Baltimore.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They won that game. That's
And then
right.
they
They won
lost
that
to the
game. They were on the
Chiefs.
road.
Yeah.
Were they? Yeah.
Well, as the 1 seed, that was 2020.
The 1 seed,
Did they?
But they lost the divisional round to the
Yeah.
Bengals.
Oh no, that was 2021. I thought
I don't know what year it was.
because
but it was-
2020 the Bengals were bad because the Steelers lost to them.
I don't know
during
what year
their
it was, but
11
there was
0.
the one. They were a wild card, beat the Patriots, beat the Ravens, lost the Chiefs. Then
That
the
was
next
2019.
year, Then the next year they were the 1 seed and they lost to the Bengals in the
That wasn't
divisional
the year
round.
after.
Well, it was at some point after.
Yeah,
that.
it was 2 years after. Yeah.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, because the Bengals.
Didn't they-
Oh, right,
yeah.
because they lost to the Ravens in the first round, I think,
Yes.
the next year.
Yeah.
And then
That
they
was
were
at
the
the
number 1
Ravens.
seed.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was at home. They lost at home.
Yeah, because the Bengals, that 2020 was whenever they didn't have a good year and the Steelers still lost to them. I know that was a big thing, but yeah.
This is like, it's a soft, like, pillow.
What do you?
know? It
Oh
could
my
be like
gosh.
a soft pillow.
All right. Well, while Peyton takes a nap, we're going to. What else do we gotta? What other free agent moves are we?
Dude, the Denver defense is going to be insane next year. I mean, it already was insane. Dre Greenlaw
The Niners, bringing the Niners players
and
over.
Talanoa Hufanga, whatever his name
Good
is.
job.
Talanoa Hufanga. Troy Polo. Let's just say Troy Polamalu.
Yeah,
That's
he's good. I mean, he
That's
was hurt.
disrespectful.
He's
You're disrespectful.
No, I didn't-
he
what
was
is that?
he
I
was
didn't even
hurt, but he's very good when healthy though. I know exactly what you're talking about.
we know what you're talking. We already knew, but like, thank you for
Hufanga.
thank you for trying.
Wait. Talanoa Hufanga. I know it's Hufanga.
There you go.
I
There we
knew
go.
that. I was just being an idiot because.
Well, you were very good at doing that.
Oh, gross.
Shut up. The Steelers, like I'm not mad at what they did at the cornerback. Like I'm okay with that. What I really don't like is they got rid of a Landon Roberts.
Oh, we gotta
They could
talk
have
about
signed
Landon
him
Roberts.
for $3 million. And instead they signed Malik Harrison, who is just a much weaker version.
let
Landon
me
Roberts,
look him up,
according
actually.
to PFF, Landon Roberts, according to PFF, was a top 5 run stopper.
That's what he does best.
Okay, in
yeah.
the league. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's okay in coverage. This Malik
Yeah.
Harrison, who they paid $7 million more for 2 years instead of 1 year,
Mhm.
he's bigger. He is bigger, but he's strictly a run stopper,
Yeah.
and he was an
He's
average.
not as good.
He's not as good as Landon Roberts, and he can't cover at all. Like he's
Yeah.
slow. He cannot
Well,
cover.
the thing with the Landon Roberts, you're not going to get the pass coverage from him, but you can that way you can put him into different packages where you're expecting more of the run and you want to put him in to get that stop if you don't want to put in one of your coverage linebackers like Patrick Queen or someone like that. So I feel like that would make sense to bring him back. But
Yeah, that was. You got $3 million 1 year with the Raiders. Raiders,
That's
they're
a good-
making
the
some
it
good
is.
Raiders-
It's
moves.
a very good.
Their
yeah.
defense is getting. I mean, with Roberts, and then they got Jeremy Chin too from the Panthers.
He's a good player. Yeah.
He's a good player. I'm looking at Adam Butler for 3 years, defensive line. They got Alex Cap. They made some under the radar moves.
Raiders,
Alex Capo used to be with the Bucks for offensive line.
I mean, this shows that the Raiders are trying to build stability.
they got Eric.
You know
They
what I
were the
mean?
ones who signed Eric Stokes. He's
Oh, yeah.
fast.
He is a fast guy. Yeah.
But he's
But I'm not trying to say that him.
and they
or,
got their running back Raheem. I love Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
He's just old.
Oh,
I'm-
I didn't know that.
I'm
yeah.
not trying to say a guy like Stokes is bad, but it's so hard to develop cornerbacks.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not on the player. It's just such a hard position. It really is.
But that I can't, and I feel like you realize the Steelers have let 33, pretty much all of their free agents walk that were on their team last year.
Yeah.
They want to get picks for 2026, and that's why this year is the perfect year to go 5-12 or something because you'd get a high draft pick. The draft is in Pittsburgh.
That would be so cool. That's probably why they
Like-
didn't want to give up their first round pick for something crazy.
Yeah. but,
Wait, what was the? People were
They already
talking
gave up
about
their
like
second round pick.
Yeah, no. People were talking about why they're not going to trade their first round pick of 20. Oh, it was the Trevor Lawrence thing. Because whenever that was, apparently going
Okay,
on,
is
even
that
That
though
was
it
so
wasn't.
short
Is
lived.
that still
Yeah.
on the table? Can we?
Yeah, well, whoever made that that known that the Steelers were interested in Trevor Lawrence, they said that they're not willing to trade their 2026 first round pick because it's in Pittsburgh. I don't,
Yeah,
or
that-
something
That's
like
just a
that.
bunch
yeah.
of
Well, that guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the guy who
Exactly.
reported
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
fake
He was a
Yeah.
goober.
fraud.
Yeah,
You're done.
yeah.
You done.
He's relegated to street sales now or something.
He was a golf reporter.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Yeah.
I'll keep reporting on Live Golf or something. But yeah, the Atlanta Roberts. Yeah, I don't like the
They paid
Malik
$7
Harris-
million
yeah.
more for someone who's worse. But
I
I
don't
feel
like
like
that.
the fact they gave up that second round pick and they want to have picks, they just want to get picks for next year.
Yeah.
So I get it, but $3 million, you could have, whatever, dude. You could have signed him for 2 years, 2 more years. I would have been like for $8 million, and I would have been like a Mason Rudolph type contract.
Yeah. No, I liked him, and he would, every time there was a tackle for loss, almost he was involved somehow. I just remember he would have those are the big momentum plays.
Also,
in games.
maybe Roberts didn't like how many snaps he had, and maybe thought the Raiders would give him a better shot. Maybe I don't know.
And the Raiders just lost Spillane, so they have that hole there to fill. But
because if Roberts signs a multi-year deal with the Steelers, like he's limiting his free agency value years after that. Like if he has a monster year with the Raiders, or at least a pretty good season, he's gonna get paid like crazy. So
he had a nice statement after. He was like, I just hope. I love my time in Pittsburgh. I just hope Steeler fans like respected me or whatever.
Yeah.
We respect.
He's a really high individual.
I never had a problem with him as like sometimes you'll be like, oh, that guy, I mean, it didn't make this play or whatever. Every time Roberts was on the field, I felt comfortable. So couldn't ask for more Roberts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A team I'm like a little disappointed. Like I knew they were gonna do a lot, and they did. But I feel like they could have done a lot more is the Patriots. And they're still
they still have a lot of cap room.
They went defense heavy with
here's their only offensive additions. An old Morgan Moses. 3 years, I don't know how, maybe he's not as old as I think.
Probably.
He's 34. They gave him a 3-year contract for $24 million.
Where was he with?
Which isn't a lot.
For a lineman, it's not too much.
He was with I know he used to play for the Ravens, but I don't think that's where he was. He might have been with Washington last year.
I'm looking it up now.
That sounds. I remember with the Ravens.
He was with the Jets last year.
Wow.
I mean, he's
he's
never
good,
been in.
But
Yeah,
like
he's
3
a
years,
solid,
30.
Yeah.
You want to like, that's okay. Like I'm okay with that. But they didn't do anything else. Let's talk about who they did get on defense. Carlton Davis. With him and Gonzalez, I always forget that kid's first name.
Christian
Gonzalez.
He was the guy I wanted the Steelers to draft in the first round.
Oregon Duck.
But we traded up to get Broderick Jones, and then the Patriots, the team we traded down with, got Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's why I thought we traded up was to get Christian Gonzalez.
And they got Milton Williams on the D line. Like they have.
That was. Did you see the saga with that? So there was originally a deal with the Panthers with Milton Williams, and then it like fell through because Schefter report. I was like watching the free agency thing, and he was like, the Panthers are signing Milton Williams. And I was like, oh wow, they're making some good deals. But then like 25 minutes later, it's like the Patriots has signed Milton Williams. I was like, wait, what happened there?
Yeah, I don't know.
But he had a great playoffs with the Eagles.
Dude, the Patriots, they've done a lot to their defense, and I like that. But like, other than Morgan Moses, they signed.
You gotta get
Mac Hollins. Respectfully, Mac Hollins, 2-year deal worth $8 million, and they got Austin Hooper, who is okay at this point.
That's the guy that always walks around with like before the game, like with bare feet. Mac Hollins, the Bills. That was the Bills guy, right?
He does that? He played for the Bills. He played for the Ravens.
Yeah, he was the guy.
He
like,
played with the Raiders.
Before the games, he would just walk around in barefoot, and he's like, I want to feel. Yeah, he had some big catches with the Bills last year.
He's a big catch, but like he's.
You need to do more for Drake May.
You got to get him on Drake May, and you need the line. So I guess they're just gonna pound the draft with maybe like where's Cooper Kupp should be a target.
Yeah.
That would be Cooper Kupp. The Chargers.
They still need more than that.
The other LA team should be.
They have their Cooper Kupp and McConkey.
It's just because he's white doesn't.
No.
What? What do you say?
All right. Well,
just because he's white. That's not the reason.
Why is it? Why would you not? Why would you say
they're the same player? They're both slot route technicians.
I don't care.
You
need
don't
receivers.
Need both of them. They need an outside guy. They need
multiple receivers.
They don't need Cooper Kupp does not fit.
I do want to talk about Drake May a little bit though. Like I hope they can surround him with weapons because in my opinion, and I will say this, and even if he ends up being a bust, Drake May exactly. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that I felt Drake May was the best quarterback in that draft. I know Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels going into the draft. I thought Drake May was the best, and this isn't the reason why. But it's kind of funny how like Pitt has no problem against UNC unless it's Drake May at quarterback, where they lost both games, and then Pitt beat Sam Howell I think every single matchup they had. So like
the rain. Yeah, there was always a rainy Thursday night game against UNC.
It was exactly. But yeah, no, I think Drake May is. absolutely the answer. I really was hoping that the Steelers had a chance to get him, even though they didn't, because he was too good to fall to 20. But yeah, I was a huge fan of him going into the draft. He could do everything.
What do we think of what the Jaguars did in free agency?
What did they do? I haven't
That's
been.
what I'm wondering.
I don't.
I think they made
I
some.
can't think
look
of
at it, so,
anything.
yeah.
I think they made some defensive additions,
Well,
and they
their defense was so bad, like worst in the league.
Mhm.
Okay, they got De'Ami Brown. They actually did a lot on offense. They got De'Ami Brown.
Oh yeah.
He's interesting. They got Patrick McCarry. Wasn't he with the Ravens or the Chiefs?
Ravens. Yeah, Patrick, the fullback.
No, Makari.
No,
Patrick
Makari.
Makari.
Oh,
I've
I thought you
never
said
heard of him.
Ricard.
No.
Makari. That sounds like a.
Well, speaking of fullbacks, is
Oh, Juszczyk.
yeah, is he gonna be a
Is it in
Steeler?
here? Oh, that would be fun. I
Yeah.
would love. Yeah,
Imagine-
Patrick McCarry was a Raven.
Interesting. They had Ricard and Makari.
Oh wow! Breaking news: Clay Holmes is the Mets' opening day starter.
Really? Wait.
And you ask why I think the Mets are gonna be bad.
Well, they have a bunch of injuries though. Is that
Yeah.
why? Well, who else is in the rotation that's healthy? I know this is off topic, but is Senga healthy? I assume he's
no,
not.
no.
Wow,
he's
he's
never.
such a good pitcher too. That's a shame.
Senga's
Dude, Clay
hurt.
Holmes looked nasty though. in
Manaea's
spring training.
hurt. It's between like Holmes, Drew Peterson.
Dude, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the Mets are gonna be mediocre. I'm
Cy
telling
Young.
you.
I have them as third in the division.
Somebody said- I
agree.
Potentially fourth if the Nationals.
Somebody said,
improve.
"Am I getting sent to hell?"
Yeah,
Because I have Braves and Phil. I have Braves as the best team. I mean, no one realizes that they're getting Acuna back, Strider back. A lot of their team was hurt, and they still made the
Yes,
playoffs.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
And
So.
the Phillies, like
And the Phillies are still going to
the
be up
Mets
there.
were a Cinderella's team last year, and now they got Juan Soto. Now everyone thinks they're just this great, this powerful team.
He's still a defensive liability unless he's
Yeah.
a DH and
But
they
I
grab
like
more
Juan
defensive.
Soto, but like
Yeah.
their starting rotation last year on paper was average, and it overperformed. It's still an average rotation.
Oh, there's a free agency alert. Dante Fowler Jr. agrees to a contract with the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey.
Da, 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 da.
Is he still good? I have no idea. I don't really know much
I don't really
about.
know.
I know he was good with the Rams for a bit.
Yeah, was he just with the
All in.
Falcons?
They're
Where
all
was he at?
in. Yeah, I believe so. He's with the Jags, all those bad teams, the Commanders.
Wow, he was good for a little bit. I remember he was good for a little bit. Yeah, that's breaking news. Wow. So
Not really wow, let's be honest.
it's
Oh,
a
you know,
wow
he
for
used
the
to be with the
Cowboys.
Cowboys. The last 2 years he was with the Cowboys. Last year he's with Washington. Now he's back with the Cowboys.
Mason Rudolph's. They just signed, penned the paper. He said, "Good to be home.
Nice.
Good to be home."
Rudolph.
I can't
You gotta
believe
love
I
that
never
guy.
thought he would come back.
No,
here.
because I remember he wanted a new start. I guess from what
I
he
don't.
said.
Yeah, I wouldn't come back. But yeah, the Titans are just. I don't know.
But I don't know, I mean-
There was a tough situation for him last year, where he was at. And,
Yeah.
and
I thought
back and
by
forth.
far he was there. They would have won games if
he started the whole year.
But
Yeah.
also, I mean, with
Well,
how much Levis showed as potential the year before, even though he might not have been the guy, like they were gonna try.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the more logical thing to try the guy that may or may not be your guy than the guy that you know is a good, decent quarterback that might win you a couple more games. So
Yeah. So
we don't know what are the Titans doing at quarterback.
they have
Cam
to draft
Ward.
one, right? I was gonna say they're
Cam
gonna
Ward.
have to draft
Yeah,
a
they're-
quarterback first overall at this point, unless
But
they don't
you're gonna
want to.
pass on Travis Hunter.
I know, like, well,
Yes.
it's just I don't know
They
what they
will,
like.
yeah.
They could say,
I
hey,
would
let's
trade.
tank
Why
for
not
next
trade
year.
down and then draft? Like if there's a team that wants to take Travis Hunter at 1, they really want Travis Hunter. I trade down, and then get. You know, they need picks. This is a team, they have nothing.
Yeah.
They got nothing.
Yeah, this draft, I have no idea what's going to. I haven't looked at any mock drafts. Like, every year I look less and less in the mock drafts unless a Pitt player is going in the first round. But it's just.
Yeah, the mock drafts, and I always look at the ESPN ones. Oh, they're on ESPN Plus. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. I can't read them.
Yeah.
And now
Titans,
ESPN
they got
Plus
Van
is much.
Jefferson.
That's right.
Yeah,
We love Van Jefferson. Of just a
Van Jefferson.
very nice fifth wide receiver.
But he was a 2 for us.
Yeah.
Um,
At times, but
What
Yeah.
a great guy. Okay, well, I lost my ESPN fantasy.
Oh
What
yeah,
other quarterbacks
fantasy.
did we not talk about?
Well, quarterbacks.
We've covered all the.
We haven't
quarterbacks,
talked
right?
about the Patriots and
Yes, we did. We just talked.
no, their backup quarterback.
Josh
Joe Milton.
Dobbs.
Oh, Josh Dobbs.
They
No,
signed
Joe
Joe
Milton.
Oh.
But they signed Josh Dobbs.
I wasn't talking about Josh Dobbs. Respectfully, we love Josh Dobbs.
Yeah,
but
will Joe Milton get
I was
traded?
talking about
That
like,
is
I
an
was-
interesting.
They were people
yeah,
have been
because
saying
I think
Joe
there's
Milton.
there's a lot of teams that think he could be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I said it on this podcast, but I've been telling everyone the Steelers should draft him. Whenever that draft was going on, they didn't. He went in the 6th round. I'm like, why? Like, why not take a chance at a guy that has a cannon of an arm? If he doesn't work out, you drafted him in the 6th round.
Do you remember him against Pitt when he came in
Yeah.
for Hooker? And
I remember he overthrew
or no,
the
the
ball
Hooker
like
came
by
in for
5
Yeah,
him.
Hooker came in
yards.
for
Hooker
him,
came
yeah.
in for him.
I remember
and they
he had
almost
a
beat
deep,
us.
I remember though
They almost came back.
he had a deep ball that game. It was wide open. He overthrew it.
There
by
were
7
He did.
yards.
there were several.
No, he
of those.
did. I mean, but like, why not take?
Well, he's
a
gotten a
risk,
lot
you know
better.
what I
Like,
mean?
have you seen him like at the end of this in the regular season and in the preseason? He was like a darling. Everyone's like, "Oh,
yeah.
Joe Milton." But
Yeah.
I think a team that has an option, a backup quarterback or even starter, you take a chance or something.
Titans, I know
The
that.
Titans, get Joe
Titans,
Milton.
yeah, you get Joe Milton and draft Travis Hunter first overall. Imagine
Wow.
that, like that works out.
Malik.
People are saying Titans as this next year's Commanders
Yeah.
or the Texans of previous years where they've been bad and they
What, this upcoming
Yeah.
year? Who's their quarterback? Who have they haven't done, I mean they got Dan
Will
Moore.
Levis.
Congratulations.
Will Levis.
He sucks. He's no,
Don't
he
say
sucks.
that to Connor Howard.
yeah.
Well, respectfully, he sucks.
Do you know who I heard that
doesn't
first
matter.
from? Do you know who I heard that first from, Peyton? Who said that the Titans could be this year's Commanders? Our buddy Jason McIntyre, who's full of the greatest opinions, who's someone who said that prime John Wall was better than prime Kyrie Irving. Can you believe that?
I'm a Cavs fan. That hurt.
Poverty.
Yeah, I love John Wall, but Kyrie Irving. I mean,
John Wall was special,
Yeah,
but Kyrie Irving is special. Has been
he,
special.
Darius Garland right now is displaying as a poor man's version of Kyrie Irving. I mean, just someone that Kyrie Irving's just so good. Like,
Kyrie Irving is the best ball handler I've seen in my life.
yes,
I think of all time, probably. John Wall was great. Allen Iverson was
Yeah.
great.
I love AI.
AI.
I love using AI for my. I love Chat GPT and Grok. Grok. Oh my gosh, but yeah. It's so I got off track there, but anything else?
This is the most rambling.
I know,
Yeah, I know.
because it's
podcast
just like
episode.
we're
Yeah.
just doing one topic, and it's like, is there anything else we want to? We're getting to a good point here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
We have to go for another 45 minutes. What are you talking about?
Why?
Oh,
Just
we
kidding.
should have Pirates trivia. Dang, that would have been nice for this episode. but
Pirates
it's okay.
trivia. Who?
You should just pull up a player and just you could just
And just
pull
see
up
if
a
I
pla-
can name him.
or no if we could name
Oh, if
them.
you guys can name him, okay.
We could do that.
Should I just do like some obscure player that you guys might not, or you guys may or may not know?
If you do jersey numbers of anybody, I will not be able to.
No,
get
I'm
a
not. I'm not.
single
I would not
person.
do. I would just go on baseball.
I don't.
Reference
I
and
didn't
look
know. I didn't know. I didn't. I didn't remember Skeen's number until he told me
for it.
yesterday.
I don't remember any jersey.
I don't know
numbers at all.
jersey numbers like at
No.
all. You know, I just
I'm
don't.
terrible. I got a Skeen's shirt jersey because I mean Skeen's like he's awesome, but like I don't even remember his jersey.
What number
I
is?
got one.
What number is
I
Nikola
don't.
Jokic?
I wouldn't have known like unless it's like
15.
Andrew McCutcheon, Roberto
Yeah.
Clemente. You know, I'm
I'm
not gonna
good at
remember.
that, I think.
Pedro Alvarez, I'll know because he was my favorite player growing up.
What number was?
Give me a
Tony Watson. What number is Tony
He was
Watson?
44.
Yeah, I
yeah,
actually remember. I remember
I
that
thought
number.
32 for some reason.
I
That's
remember
Henry
the
Davis.
44 because I remember 44.
Yeah.
I now I'm just thinking about Pirates relievers of 2017 and 26. Or even before that, I guess.
I
2016.
love the mid 2010s Pirates relievers. Like Ben Mazzaro was good for a year. Jared Hughes.
Jared Hughes.
48.
Jared
Yeah.
Hughes was that his
Yeah,
number?
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jared Hughes was very underappreciated. I
He
think.
wa- he
Like, if
was-
you look
he-
at his,
In 2014, he had a sub 2 ERA.
yeah,
Like three
He always
relief pitchers
come
on
the
that team
mound,
had
he
a
was
sub
like-
2 ERA.
He would run and he was like, He always
Yeah,
had this
he'd
look on
Dude, he
his
was
face.
intimidating. Oh, I
He was
loved it. Like in 2014,
Yes.
Mark Melanson, Tony Watson, and Jared Hughes had ERAs under 2. Like that bullpen,
Yeah.
like, was great.
Jason Grilly, what was his number?
Grilly,
I don't know.
39.
yeah.
I don't know numbers.
Jason
I'm just explaining that. I don't know numbers. I know Josh Bell was 55.
Yes,
I-
and
'cause I
Russell
just-
Martin was.
Because that
too.
was my Russell Martin. No, because
The
I used to be
Bengals-
55,
the
number
Bengals
55.
are actively working to get both wide receivers signed as soon as possible. Jamar and T. They're going to be in
That's
debt.
so tough.
I won't believe it till I see it.
That's so tough. It's so tough to pay 2 receivers so much money. Like,
Yeah, now that's what the Steelers are going to do with Pickens and Metcalf. No,
I
they
don't-
won't.
I
They
don't
will
think
not.
They will.
They
no.
will not.
I don't
I'm
think
just
they
saying, like, that's like what that is. Although they're, to me, those guys are better. But
Yeah,
of course, they have a great quarterback too,
Right.
which helps.
they do.
Sterling Shepard.
Where's he at?
Uh,
Is he a free agent still or what?
Bucks. He went to the Bucks.
Sterling
okay.
Shepard did. I felt so bad for him. I remember.
The Commanders' ex-Steelers offensive lineman Nate Herbig to the Commanders.
Oh.
Nate
But
Herbig.
I remember watching a video on Sterling Shepard, and he was like disguised as like a Dick's Sporting Goods worker, I think it was. And he was like, seeing if anyone would recognize him. And this poor guy, like this kid, was like saying, "Oh yeah, I like Odell Beckham Jr." And Sterling Shepard's like, "What about Sterling Shepard? I think he's pretty good." And he was like, "Nah, he sucks," or something like that. I'm like, I mean, he's not even a
wow.
bad. He was a
But
solid
he had like
receiver
a
for
lot of expectations.
Yeah, he did.
And he didn't live up to them. But still,
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a tough
You
situation.
can't. I mean, he's a kid.
What do we think
so-
about Darius Slayton going back to the Giants? I saw Giants
for a
fans.
lot of money?
I
too,
saw
yeah.
Giants fans were not happy with that
Yeah,
signing.
Yeah, he's all
What was
right.
that, like 3 years, like 30 something, or
yeah.
what was
That's exact. Yeah.
36
Speaking
or
of
something?
receivers, the Ravens didn't do anything this offseason,
They
but they
re-signed
got
Tyler-
D-Hop.
Yeah,
They got D-Hop, and they got
yeah.
Ronnie Stanley back, which is
and they re-signed
He's
Tylen Wallace. or
D-Hop
whatever.
with the Ravens. Like I like that.
Like
for them.
it's kind of crazy. Like assuming he's gonna be a good jump ball receiver again, you have to worry about the rush attack, and then if Lamar Jackson runs a play action like scrambles, you're gonna be all on him. Then you just chuck a D-Hop 1-on-1. Like that's just
No, Joey Porter's gonna grab him
That's-
down.
yeah,
It's just gonna be a best
Pass
interference.
interference.
yeah.
The
Not my
refs, yeah.
fault.
Are you got any buckos? You got any?
Oh,
yeah, I
thought
can
you were-
find-
Oh, I thought you.
I
were-
could do one if you guys want.
I think, yeah, we
Who's
can.
our random bucko of the day?
Should I do one more current that you guys would know, or is there a specific era you guys would?
I don't know any era.
Any era? What are you, Peyton?
I know,
Let's
like
do,
last.
Let's do like within the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
well,
That's
within
fair.
the last 10 years, like someone just completely random.
Yeah, anybody.
Oh, I got a great one.
Okay.
What was his name? Oh, I had the wrong first name. Okay. So, this guy, the Pirates acquired him going into the 2020 season. He was an infielder. He was like, he was a crazy sign, like not a crazy sign, but like he was like just like a minor signing. They ended up actually starting.
Eric
kind of a decent
Gonzalez.
amount. No, not him. He signed. He
already
did not
been
get
with
traded.
us.
Yeah.
Was he? Was
Wait,
he?
he was
Um,
traded to us.
No, Gonzalez was,
Oh,
but this
okay.
guy we signed. This guy also, oddly enough, I think it was 2021. He went on a Linsanity run for a week, like early on in 2021. He was getting MVP chance.
Philip Evans.
Yes, yes, Philip Evans.
Philip Evans.
Yes.
Wow. Remember he
2021, but in 2020 he got hurt.
But
I thought that was the end of him.
no, he had like 359.
he had like a
2020.
crazy.
And then
I
2020.
was thinking like middle infield.
Here,
I
I'll-
wasn't thinking first base, third base.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But here,
Let's
I'll
do another
I'll
one.
pull up his game logs in 2021. So Philip Evans, at one point.
Dude, he looked like the future.
In
for
the
a
middle
second.
of April, like after April 12th, he was hitting 406 with
Wow.
3 dingers.
I remember he was like really hitting.
Yeah.
Didn't he hit like crazy in the minors? It won the was he
I don't know. Let me
I thought
see.
when he was in the minors he
he's
hit like
still playing.
He's
He's
he was with Atlanta,
yeah.
but
He's
he
with
hit
Atlanta.
312 in
He's with
2023
Atlanta.
in the minors. Yeah, he's a good hitting minor league hitter.
the 4A kind of. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Like it is a big jump from AAA to the majors.
Yeah.
Pirates, we love our 4A players.
Quad A, baby.
Yep. What other guy within the past 10 years? I'm gonna try to get one that might take a little bit more. Ooh, I got one. Okay. So, this guy was a second-round pick in 2017 for the Pirates and was hovering around top 100 boards, but not quite. He was an outfielder.
Oh, outfielder?
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking of it wasn't Travis Swagger. He was 2018,
No,
right?
Yeah, and he was a first-round pick. But Cal Mitchell was a.
Did you just give it away? Just gave it away.
I just gave it away.
Oh, wow. 20.
That's my fault. I know.
I remember.
That
Does
was
not count.
poverty on my part. We'll do
Cal
it.
Mitchell was with the Padres last year.
Yeah. I think
Is he
he's
still with them?
I think so. Yeah.
Cal Mitchell.
Yeah, that was
Did he
poverty
break
on
up
my
the no-hitter the one time?
Did he?
I remember he broke up a no-hitter in St. Louis.
Remember
Oh,
Kai
wow.
Tom broke up the no-hitter
Kai
in
Tom.
Colorado? It was in the 9th inning. They had a no-hitter going in.
In Colorado.
You don't remember? You don't remember that? There was
No.
because I was like really fuming. I was like,
Oh,
you're
Cal
in
Mitchell.
court.
He's with the
Yeah.
White Sox.
Oh, really?
Now he is.
That's what
I mean, he might make opening day. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like he has a shot at making.
I was looking at I was looking at his stats recently. I remember he hit like what was it like two? He hit like 210. I was thinking I liked his build.
Yeah.
I liked.
We had so many. We've like this rebuild has took it so long because we had guys like Cal Mitchell,
Yeah.
like that we thought maybe would turn into something.
Well,
And,
those,
like,
that he wasn't Charrington's guy, so
yeah,
you know
but
what
like
I mean?
still like he's a second-round pick. Like you
Yeah, I get what
expect
you
like.
mean. Yeah. But okay, so I got one more guy. So this guy was a September call-up merchant for the Pirates in 2018. Like he had a pretty good September for them
What position?
everywhere. Like he mainly infield, but he played some
Pablo
outfield with
Reyes?
Pirates. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Pablo Reyes.
Pablo Reyes.
He's with the Yankees now, isn't
I
he?
love Pablo
Is he not
Reyes.
with the? I swear he just.
Did
you just go to the Yankees?
Let me see.
He was with the Red Sox
I love. I was.
and the
I
Brewers.
bought into him so much in September, and then he made opening day in 2019. I think as a reserve
His swing
player.
was
I
so
like,
funny.
It was funny, but I mean, he hustled. I love that guy.
Oh, you got that quick.
He's not on the team apparently.
Remember he got the He was playing with the Red Sox. Then he
Yeah.
got that 80-game suspension.
Yeah, in 2020 he missed the entire year because of the suspension. But
Wow.
2023 he was pretty good. He hit 287, only struck out 21 times in 64 games. So
That was good.
yeah, I liked him.
Reyes, he's with Cashman in the Yankees.
Yeah, that's what I said. The
Oh,
Yankees.
did he just sign? Because it didn't say.
Yeah,
on
I saw that he
Baseball
was with the
Reference.
Yankees because I saw a depth chart and he was like on the depth chart.
Well, on Baseball
Wait, what is
Reference it
this?
doesn't say he's on the.
Baseball Reference
Yeah.
is slow with
Like I feel like it would have happened.
Look at this guy. Yankees, it's Ryan Cashman. Look.
Oh, I
Have you
was
seen
the
this? Look.
I was the
Yankees
biggest
going
fan.
into the year with Pablo Reyes and Dominic Smith as legitimate opening day options is
Yeah.
wild to me.
I was a big fan of
It's-
Dominic Smith though. Like he was so good for the Mets in 2020, and I don't know what happened. And 2019. he
Oh,
was
the
good.
great Diana Rossini says on 93.7 The Fan that her instincts tell her that Aaron Rodgers will end up in Minnesota,
I hope that doesn't happen.
and she has no idea who the next Steelers
Have they
quarterback-
offered him a contract?
I don't know why the Vikings would. What's the point? I don't know. That doesn't make
How?
sense.
See, I don't trust her. She's been off on some things.
Wow.
Rossini.
Well, I mean, it's a gut feeling though, isn't it? So it's not like
Carlos
she hasn't-
Rodon named the Yankees opening day starter.
He was pretty decent. last
Over
year for
Max
them.
Fried.
Oh,
Why would
that's
she say
actually.
something dumb
Yeah, why
like
wouldn't
that?
it be Max Fried? Because that's like the big addition. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Oh!
At the end of
The poop. Look at this. The poop game.
the day. Let's
Lives
go.
Wow.
This is the spring breakout game. Can we put this? If I send this picture, could you put this on like an edit, like to show the people at home this?
Yeah, I can.
Wow, the poop game lives on. For anybody that doesn't know, the Pirates Phillies scoreboard when it's for the Phillies NBC broadcast. If it's 0-0, it's the P's on both sides and it's 0-0, so it's
Yeah.
poop.
Go and it's an in-state game too. That's
Okay,
It's
so
an
here
in-state game.
I just looked up what Rossini tweeted. She said, "Here's what you need to know: the Vikings are having discussions about what they want to do at quarterback and if they want Rodgers. Rodgers is giving them time and waiting to hear from Minnesota. The Vikings have yet to make a decision. We all wait." Bro, Minnesota, do you want the guy or not? Jesus.
I don't think
Christ.
I don't think Minnesota should. I don't think they will. I would be shocked if
This
they,
is
they're
getting
the one that get Rodgers.
excessive.
This is ridiculous.
Like
Dude, like, you have a chance to get replaced in Minnesota. I think Minnesota's
Yeah.
the best spot in terms of offense,
Yeah.
but, like,
I mean, if I'm the Steelers and I had J.J. McCarthy, I mean, I know we didn't really see much of what he did with college, but the fact that he's young, that has potential,
he wants
that
to
has a good
complete
arm.
the Brett Favre prophecy. He wants
Why-
to go
why
from the
would it-
Packers, the Jets,
Hey,
to the Vikings.
If the Vikings end up grabbing Aaron Rodgers, Steelers make the
Why
call
would he
for
wanna
J.J.
do-
McCarthy.
Why would Rodgers want to do that?
That's there's,
I would.
but they're
I would if I'm the Steelers, I'd try for McCarthy if Rodgers goes to the Vikings.
I'm
why
very
not?
low on. I'm
But like,
sorry,
why not? Why not make the risk? Like, if you want to have him sit a year while he's fully healthy, sit behind Rudolph for a year and then start in 2026.
but then the Vikings are throwing away. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is what, a year, 2 years? I mean,
Yeah, but then McCarthy, you're gonna have to make a decision with the 5th-year option once Rodgers is gone, assuming that Rodgers doesn't become the backup there for $30 million a year.
If I'm like, I just feel like Rodgers. Now you're like, if that happens, you're living in the shadows of Brett Favre almost
Yeah.
in that regard. I just don't think
how
for
does
him.
it take this long for Minnesota to decide this? Like, what is so hard about, like, I don't get that. Do you want Aaron? You want that or not? Like, it's not hard.
I'm shocked they didn't grab a backup anywhere. Like, I'm shocked they didn't even try to contact Rudolph. Say, hey, we'll give you 2 years, 10. Maybe they did. I don't
They
know.
still have
but
Nick Mullins. Where's Nick Mullins at?
He
Is
went
just-
somewhere else. I
Oh,
think.
did he?
Yeah, I think. Right. I don't know.
Because they had like 4 quarterbacks last year.
They did. Yeah.
All right, anything else? Or we went.
Wait, let's have one more. We need
Oh,
a
we're doing
tiebreaker.
one more. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't think that's necessary.
You're not necessary, buddy.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Watch me walk out right now.
We're almost done. Go ahead,
Let me think
forfeit.
I'm gonna think of a year that would be good for this. Okay, I got one.
Off the dome.
So this guy was a spring training merchant. No, it's not Matt Haig.
Matt Haig?
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say no. It's not Kevin Newman.
Oh no, well it's not him either. No. So
Yeah,
this
Matt
guy,
Haig.
he mainly played outfield coming up, but he was also a first baseman, DH if necessary. I always thought he was a pretty good play, like not
What
pretty, like he
year?
was a solid. He played from he came up in 2017, and his last Pirates game was 2020. He's overseas now, I believe, in Japan.
Jose Osuna.
Yes, Jose Osuna.
I just watched.
I always just would be mad because why didn't they play him? They would always. I always thought he had
Yeah.
more in the tank.
Well, it was tough because in 2018 he struggled. In 2019 he had the juice ball era season where everyone was hitting homers.
Today there's this account on Instagram. It's like random. I can't remember, like random Pittsburgh sports moments. I can't remember what it's called, but they showed today or yesterday the game where the Pirates scored against the Cubs in 2017 when they
Yeah.
scored 10 runs in the first inning. Remember that? When
oh
everybody-
yeah.
When
Cervelli
Cervelli
hit
hit
a
that
grand
slam.
Yeah, I
slam.
remember that
and cut shit.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember because Jose Osuna had the double, and I can't remember if it was a double or triple.
Yeah.
It might have been a triple even. But
Wasn't that off Lester too? I think
yeah,
it was off
Lester was
Lester.
pitching. Yeah, John Lester. Wow.
What a great
What a
career.
legend.
Great. What
John
a way to
Lester.
end the podcast too, right? with
A's
John Lester.
legend.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
A's legend, John Lester.
yeah, that was like a
Well,
fantastic. That's what got him that big contract with the Cubs, pretty much.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson, A's
Well, they-
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember the A's were cooking that one year and they traded Cespedes.
Yeah, that was the
a
same
big
year.
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and Lester was good, but they were off. They went.
well,
double
they
team
doubled down
the
on
tank.
pitching because 2014 was dominated by pitching. Like
Wow.
that, there were not many. Which
that
is kind of
2014?
weird because you give up a really good hitter, which Cespedes like in today's game, maybe would have been a below average hitter at the time, but in 2014, he would have been one of the better.
And they lost they ended up losing the division somehow, and they had a huge lead, and then they
Yeah.
barely made the wild card and lost to the Royals on the road.
Yeah. I miss 2014 so much. Like that was perfect for Pirates baseball.
I miss 2014 and 2015 because that was when one of my favorite teams of all time, maybe my favorite of all time, was the 2015 Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Because I loved how they were constructed. Their bullpen was as good as you're gonna find anywhere.
How many other teams are gonna in 2014 like make the World Series with less than 100 homers as a team?
Wow.
Like they were just so
Yeah.
good defensively. They played fundamental baseball, like how the '92 Pirates were, where their leadoff guy would go on base, Jay Bell would bunt him over, and then Barry Bonds would hit him in, or like that.
I feel like that era of baseball is it feels like a distant memory.
Because it's so different now.
It feels
is
like
completely
it
different now.
almost is nostalgic. It is nostalgic. I mean, honestly, but it feels like a time when baseball was better. Honestly, like
I love whenever pitching is at its peak, and then there's like a very few like very elite hitters. I love that. I because like it's. I don't
Well,
know.
it favors the small market teams.
A lot of the small market teams don't, like Orioles, Rays, Pirates, Athletics, Royals. They were all really good teams.
Yeah,
then.
and
it was craziness.
Remember
I loved it.
what could have been
The
one of
Pirates
the
are still stuck in 2014.
one of the greatest rotations could have been of all time with DeGrom, Syndergaard, Matt Harvey, and all them. They were just Matt Harvey. It just was tough for him, but that was a great World Series. And then the Giants with Bumgarner and Lincecum and Matt Cain and everybody.
Yeah,
Man.
I love.
Who was the? I remember in 2010. He was short-lived. Brian Wilson, the guy at the beard.
Oh, Brian Wilson.
Remember
Yeah,
him?
yes, I do. And then
I've
Sergio
heard-
Romo
you
took
know
his
what?
place.
That's a little before you started getting.
Yeah.
into things.
Yeah,
I heard the
he
name.
He was in Nick Toon's MLB. He was the relief pitcher for the Giants whenever Tim Lincecum was.
I never did the Giants.
Well, I mean, if you did the MLB, like
That's true.
you could pick the play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nick Toon's MLB is the reason why I'm a baseball encyclopedia, by the way.
man, that
Crazy. And then
Which-
it became MLB 2K13, and that
Wow.
really made it where I was just a psychopath.
Locked him. Just
yeah.
like how I'm on this.
it's the Pirates
bar.
against the Cubs. Hello, everyone. I'm Birch Perkins.
Oh man, I played that game too much whenever I was 10.
I have that game still.
Yeah, I
think.
have it on the 360. I
have
have
it
it
on
on
my
me on
Nint-
campus.
I have
but
it on my Nintendo.
Wow.
Wow,
Nick Toon's MLB.
that's a wow.
Wow.
Nostalgia.
Well, let's end with
All right.
that.
Yeah, let's end with
The
that.
wow.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We all appreciate your support. Hopefully you guys like this free agency episode, kind of like just the updates what we thought of the free agents. But other than that, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.